yours. And I, did a good amount of research on it. I researched the figurehead, and that's a story for a different day. But one of the things I was doing is that I'm about ready to cut the gun ports. But before I cut the gun ports, I want to get at least 1 or 2 coats of paint on the bulwarks inboard, because once I cut because it'll be easier to paint with the gun ports not cut yet. So I'm wondering, okay, what color were the bulwarks? Now, I remember from when I was a kid, I was on the Constitution, and the Constitution has green bulwarks. And the docent at the time said to me, well, that was Isaac Hull's favorite color. And I still remember that to this day. And I'm going to be 75. I still remember that. And I don't know about that. I need something better. So there's a model of Argus at the Smithsonian that the bulwarks, I think, are green as well. But I said, let me check out this AI stuff and see how it works. So I asked the question to Microsoft Copilot. And what I asked was, right here, you could see my pointer. What color were inboard bulwarks on the U.S. Navy brig 1803? Okay, short answer, they were almost certainly painted green. Below is a deeper context, blah, blah, blah. From standard U.S. Navy practice 1798 to 1815. You could read it yourself. I'm not going to go through it. Okay, inboard bulwarks were typically painted a bright or medium green. This is interior green, blah, 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 supporting historical facts, etc., etc. And then it talks about Argus. Now, what's interesting about it talking about Argus is about 7 months ago, I asked the question, what was, give me a bust of Argus. And I think it remembered that question because I didn't say anything about USS Argus in this question. And it specifically came out and said USS Argus, which sort of blew me away. But it does give some other references that if I really wanted to be anal, if I'm not anal enough, I could go back and check some of these more references. But it also says, while no surviving document explicitly states the bulwarks color of the Argus at launch, the ship was built at Edmund Hart in Boston, the same yard that built Constitution. Hart's yard followed the same paint traditions. Exterior black hull with yellow ochre or buff stripe, interior green bulwarks. And then it talks about the how it was built, made with linseed oil, et cetera, et cetera. So I just wanted to show you guys, this stuff frankly blew me away because this saved me a whole lot of legwork. I kind of knew what the answer was going to be when I went in, but it's pretty incredible. This took all of 10 seconds to come up. I mean, really, really incredible stuff. But like I said before, with my thing about the boots, this is sort of like buyer beware. So that I'll stop sharing. Just thought you guys would be interested. I'm sure there are other things out there that you can go look for.
Awesome, Tom. Thank you so much.
One thing to bear in mind about AI, if you read up on it, you'll see that about 20% of the time it makes it up.
Hallucinations are fun.
So your best defense is multiple sources, not just
Yeah. Up here in New Jersey, and I think it happened in Alabama as well, some lawyers got into a lot of trouble because they were submitting court briefs to the judge that cited case law that didn't exist. Yeah.
It's happened in more than 2 jurisdictions, I assure you.
Anyone else online with anything to tell us? Mike.
Ryland, how do you get dowels small enough to block the wheels with, for the wheel shafts?
Use wire instead?
Yeah, use wire instead.
No, wire's a good idea.
I'm using a very, very thin wire. I mean, I use a 78 drill that axle.
Okay.
And you can use wire or, black nylon fishing line too. I use a lot of that.
Interesting.
I use that black nylon to tree nail my longboat, and I've got a lot of that left over. I think it's like 10 pounds, very, very thin, black monofilament line.
Yeah. The other thing I'll tell you, and this was told to me at somebody at Shearline, and she says to me, I asked her, well, how do you turn down something like 20,000 or whatever? And she says, well, I use a little cheat. What's the little cheat? She basically bled in some cyano, okay, and now she was actually turning acrylic rather than wood. Because if you get diameters that small with wood, even boxwood, you're now into the composition of the fiber and it's just going to fall apart.
Cool, thank you.
Anyone else online with comments or things to show? John?
Yeah, just real quickly, I just started working on the Essex. It's an Admiralty type model, 1799 U.S. frigate. This particular model by Model Shipways. I've built a few of those, not that many, but so far just got the bulkheads in place now, and now the real work starts. That's it.
Awesome. Looking forward to seeing your planking.
I'm sorry?
Looking forward to seeing your planking.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
If you want, one of the model winners, if you have a copy of the Nautical Research Journal, one of the winners in the I think they took second place in the master class. They won for a model of the Essex. It's exquisite, absolutely exquisite. So if you have that edition of the journal, I'm sure Ryland has it. If you have that edition of the journal, it has photographs of it. The model is absolutely exquisite, and it's very, very well researched. So it might help you out a little bit.
Thank you. In the room, why don't we turn the lights back on so we can see?
Are we on show or tell now?
Oh, yes, we're doing show and tell. Anyone else online?
Yeah, I'll go.
Okay. Mike?
Get a decent background. So Constitution now has pumps. The kit that I was originally going to use, I used the pumps. It's a very small, a lot of sanding dowels to get the handles. And they did not have any pipes for the pumps, so I brought the pipes down to the bilge. And once I put the rocks in and the barrels in the hold, there won't be much of those showing, but I wanted to have them. And gun ports are cut. I am going to leave this unplanked to show the framing. Started on putting the guns in. The blocks are a little bit bigger than I like, but I don't have anything smaller in a double block. And I can't figure out how to flat coil the ropes. And Mort's ship that he showed last week, he had some really nice flat coils. But Mort's on vacation right now on a cruise. So he's going to get back to me when he gets back from his cruise. But if anybody has any tips on flat coiling ropes as they would sit on the deck by the gun, I'd appreciate it if you reach out to me. She's coming along. One other thing I want to show is all the spar deck and the gun deck. I cut each of the beams individually and sanded them individually. I decided for the spar deck, I still cut the beams, roughed them out with their arch individually, but I cut them extra long, and then I glued just the ends together so that I can sand them all to the same height, right? To the same curve, top and bottom. And then I'll cut them down, pass the glue. I'll have 6 pieces. I only need 5, so I've got an extra. There's an extra from the gun deck, which has the same curve. And then I'll cut them down to get the angles to fit into the hull. But this is the first time I've tried doing it this way. I didn't want to do it with a single piece of wood and then have to try and split them with the bandsaw this way and, have jagged cuts. So I'm trying laminating and putting my beams together this way. I still got some sanding to do on the inside. The outside is getting pretty close. Or the top, bottom needs more sanding. So that's all I have for today.
Great
Like I
idea.
said, if anybody knows how to flat coil well, has tricks, please reach out to me.
Yeah. I've seen some in 3D printing, flat coils with resin print. I don't know if that would suit your need.
Yeah, I want to use line, but I'm thinking I might have to flat coil off the model and then,
Yeah.
glue it and then attach the blocks to the guns.
Hi, it's Kevin here. I have, if you go back 2 or 3 videos of mine where I was installing some cannons, I show you exactly how to do it. It's actually very simple.
Okay, well, I'm away. I'll be back home Wednesday. So if you could reach out to me later in the week or just send me an email and I'll reach out back to you.
No problem.
Thank you, Kevin.
Anyone else online with anything to show?
Not me, I'm on holiday.
Why don't we, thank you. Turning the lights back on, and we will start with this table. And Gene has every time I've been here, he's gone last. So let me go first. All right, I'm gonna go first. I will go first. You're in. Hey, Rylands. Okay, actually, I have a couple of things. Ron, if you can pull up that CD show here. This. This.
Which one is it?
Okay, so let's do Caelan first. I have a couple of things to show. All right, at the last ODO.
Oh my gosh, you actually had to add it on there.
Share the screen.
Okay, yeah,
You
sure.
had to. You really had to do it, haven't you, Gene? You really had to add that photo.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. Bro, I regret.
All right, we're sharing now.
I regret.
All right, here we are at the ODO.
I regret doing that.
Caelan was the recipient of one of Bill Gass's models that he contributed to the cause. Well, Caelan apparently was so anxious to inventory, ignore the next one, a box. Oh, there's more. Here's Caelan inventorying the parts, making sure that he's going to finish this in a week or 2. I think he got most of the parts back in the box.
Yes.
Yes.
No. I got all this. I fact checked it last week.
Except for the keel.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
Now next, he spent a couple of days over at the Berger boat yard building his monitor, which he'll talk about in a few moments. But here he is in my shop going through the assembly process of the monitor's raft. You can go on the next. And taking some suggestions from me on how to do it.
Me and Gene have our own daily routine.
I suggested that he autograph the boat on the inside, never to be seen again. It's just a stupid thing that I do. I put my date inside, build it. You'll never see it again, but it's just one of my little works. So here he is gluing some of the parts, sanding some more of the parts, and next. And he actually did come clean with all 10 fingers. Here we are with the bottom half. And
No advance of courage.
yep. All right, next. Oh yeah, even the bandsaw.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's getting close there. I had to kick him aside a few times, but we survived, or at least I survived. 2 days.
And no, we did not kick fest the entire thing.
And some of the lessons he learned was to cut the parts with a little more precision. It'll save you in expensive putty. But all in all, I think the project. All in all, I think the project turned out pretty well, and he's got a lot more cleanup work to do. Here is with the sanding sealer. So it was a good couple of days. Perhaps he's picked up a few tips, and we'll carry on the tradition. All right, is that the last
I
one?
think that is.
All right, yeah, you can bring up mine. What I had explained briefly was this is the Chelmow class AKL light cargo ship, the USS Hewlin specifically. The subject of the movie, Mr. Roberts as the USS Reluctant. This is my next project. Next, and with any project, of course, I go and scour the internet and squirrel away photographs, plans, anything I can research-wise before I start. Next, the plans that John provided me, a nice set of plans with profiles, deck views, body plans, shell plating diagrams, lots of detail. So with this, I'm going to be able to do pretty short work of it. Next, here's a nice interior. It was a small ship, about 179 feet, I believe it was. 177. Yeah. And again, like I said, tons and tons of photographs of different Chelmow class boats to be able to get different views, angles, deck pictures. And of course, since it was the subject of the movie, I also took a lot of screenshots from the movie. These actually are some pictures of the USS Pueblo, which incidentally was also a Chelmow class boat converted for spy work. There are a lot of photographs that either the North Koreans or visitors to the boat had provided online. So it's a time capsule of that era. So I'm going to completely outfit the bridge based upon these photographs and plans, which is a great help. All right, next. These are screenshots of the movie. They took the USS Huel and made a few modifications to it, Hollywood did, for the movie purposes, specifically for the infamous palm tree deck. So I will incorporate all of those into the design of the model. There's the palm tree, there's the deck, and like I said, screenshots. And you can't have enough pictures. If you're going to build anything, you got to have pictures from every which angle. Get every little detail you can. Drawings will only show you so much. Photographs will tell you everything else. Next. There's an overall view of the deck. Just like I said, squirreling away research pictures. Next. Yes, the infamous Order of the Palm medal. Yes, I will be etching that. And important drawings, mostly important. You got to have body plans. Next. There's the shell plating model showing all the weld lines, which I will incorporate into stations. And what I do is I take stations, they're usually presented half and half. So I'll take it in Photoshop, duplicate them, merge them together. So that way I can then cut the frames or the stations in one piece. Both fore and aft. And also a jig for the camber so that I can apply that to the stations, cut everything out. So that once you apply it to the keel, which I've got planned out here, with all the slots, everything will just dovetail together. And also on the drawings. Here's my boatyard workstation.
Boat cave.
Boat cave, yes. And print them out multiple times, glue them to a piece of plywood. I use 1/4-inch plywood. And just go ahead and assemble it.
Does it have stabilizers?
Oddly not. There are some photographs that I found that had a keel bilge keels, but it was probably modified on a fishing vessel that later was converted from one of the monoclass boats, because I have another photograph of one being scuttled, and as it was turning over, there were no bilge keels on it. So, you know, you probably could go either way. Like John explained, it could have been a modification at shipyard for different vessels. You know, so it's hard to say. I'm not going to put bilge keels on because they were not depicted on the body plan, which usually they are.
I didn't see any in that.
Yeah.
There's that
Yeah,
drawing
you
picture
can go
from
next.
the Sun Shipyard.
And here's all everything just cut out in 1/4-inch text. And here, after I cut out the stations, then I'll go ahead and line up the deck line and run the camber line so that I can cut those off, so that when the hull frame is assembled, it's everything just fits together. And I leave the plans on initially just to line up all the cross lines and your what do you call them, your water lines and your buttocks lines. And then after that, I'll go ahead and strip the paper off so that the glue will have something to stick to instead of the paper. And it's just a matter of just assembling it. I mean, this was very quick work.
Quick question.
Yeah.
What do you use for glue?
Yeah.
Is it glue?
I just use CA. What was the big
CA?
CA? Yeah. Yeah, I just squeeze it in there.
It
I
comes,
mean, it's not going
it
anywhere.
comes off easy.
Yeah, that's a big tube of it.
And but I mean, that'll soak into the wood, and it'll make a permanent bond.
No,
Besides, I
what I-
haven't got time to wait.
what I mean-
Right?
That really wasn't my question.
Okay.
The paper, you know, the templates,
Yeah.
what do you
Oh, I just use a spray contacts in it.
contact?
Just a temporary, and then to peel them off, I'll just dab it with a little bit of solvent, and they'll just pool right off. And that way you have a wood. All right, and then I'll add a couple of just stringers on there just to tie everything together, and then from there it's just a matter of sheathing it. The Chelmow class had a lot of flat sides. It was a cargo boat, so it was just flat sided, flat bottomed, except for the stern area where it just kind of got a little tedious. So I cut the strips down a little bit finer, laid them all. Yeah, but I mean, at this point, it's just rough and dirty. It doesn't need to be clean because there's going to be a lot of sanding, a lot of shaping done after that. And this was, I don't know, probably day before yesterday, maybe before.
Gene, do you fill one of the gaps with anything, or is it just you smooth it so smooth it doesn't need?
Patience.
Huh?
Next. What I like to do, and most of my boats, I'll embed a piece of brass in the stern and the bow to provide a nice sharp edge, and also it'll protect it from little dings and gouges and things as you're moving about. And that way you can form the stem to a nice scale sharpness, and it gives you something to go up against.
Is it like an L bracket or just square?
Just a piece of, just maybe a 1/4 inch by just a flat piece.
Okay.
The thickness is probably, I don't know, 16 less, 32nd, 16th of an inch. Just something to stiffen up the block and the stern and the bow. And then from here, it's just a matter of fairing the hull to templates that I made. I'll cut out another set of outside templates. Now, a quick retract. When I made the stations for the interior, I reduced the size by 1/8 of an inch to compensate for the sheathing that would go on top of that. I used 1/8 inch basswood for sheathing. For the templates for the exterior, since all of your lines are drawn to the exterior of the hull, they need to be full size. So then I use these templates to then pair hull. And okay, go ahead.
Your templates, are they, is this And plywood?
Yeah, just some scrap. It doesn't, just anything I have lying around. And then from there, it's a matter of fairing in with Bondo. I like to use some Bondo. Hard, seal everything. And a little bit of glazing putty. And once you're satisfied with the templates and fairness of the hull, then it's just a matter of several coats of sanding sealer, trying to get exposed wood sealed up. And that's pretty much where we are today. Then I go on to the next phase of sanding and sealing and sanding and priming and sanding and priming, and I'll do that multiple times until the hull is perfect, and then I'll go ahead and start adding the weld lines, the whatever details be added to the hull. But this is now a base foundation for the project, where I am today.
Are you gonna put dents in that show up in the photograph?
Oh, yeah. No, I'll make it pretty much like the movie shows.
Cool.
Yeah,
I like it.
rusty and kind of dented. All right, well, that's all I got.
Thank you.
Cool. Caelan, about you next.
As you saw the photos that Gene had showed of me building the monitor at his house. So basically what I did so far, I did the sanding sealer on the hull to remove any grain. So far I did the hull, it felt kind of smooth. I probably need to do the top of the deck of the turret, which still has a bit of grain. Hopefully I can have the smoke boxes glued in next. I did talk to Gene at his house if we could probably get some like smoke generators inside to do some smoke. My first suggestion was we could probably add an ashtray inside of it and light some tobacco. He said it would be a great idea, but he was being sarcastic.
Yeah.
So just drill a hole and throw the ashes down inside it.
Well, I was adding an ashtray inside of it. And then maybe I'll start priming it and then probably like painting it. But one of the things that'll be hard, of course, I need to do the propeller. So if I could spend some time with you again, Gene, that would be more helpful. Next, I had also brought in my superstructure for my PT boat. As you can see, I had worked on the day cabin in the deck house. I need to do some wood filling on the more wood filling on the sides because there's a little bit of cracks. And hopefully I can get them glued into the deck where I can also work on the gun tubs and the 50 cal guns. That's where I'm in. That's where I'm at today.
Outstanding.
Really good. Very nice.
You didn't show them the fancy work on the turret.
True.
Yeah. See? Oh, yes.
Is it gonna be motorized?
No, but the turret can move.
John, Bill, Craig. I'll bring one in. United States this week. Not the boat, but. Next table, anyone have anything to show?
No, I don't.
The table in the corner. Alan, your table, anything to show? Our table sharing.
That's it?
No, middle table here.
Right.
Much faster than usual. So I guess Ryan, anything?
He gets the honor
No.
slot.
All right. So I get to go last. So this is the whaleboat that I have been bringing. Since last time, I have finished the internal framing and I've got the thwart riser in place and I've started working on the ceiling planks. This is all Swiss pear. I thought it needed a little bit of contrast. One thing I'm realizing is I spent a lot of time on the hull. I was very happy with how the battens looked, and I'm now realizing they're all going to be almost entirely covered. But I got some pictures, so it's okay.
Yes. That's the way.
Yeah, I'm kind of jealous of the other work that I've seen because my month is not anywhere near the sort of progress that Caelan and Gene had.
Bondo.
Bondo, I got it.
I skipped all that fitting and beautiful work you're having over there.
Carved Bondo. You're
Yeah.
well ahead of me.
Alrighty. I guess we finished our show and tell with a few minutes left. Were there, why don't we try 5 minutes of questions, just general modeling questions that other group members can help with, and if there aren't any, we'll adjourn. Anyone have any burning questions or models that group members can help with?
Question backtracking. Greg, you said chat GPT.
GPT.
Golf boxing.
I'm sorry.
Golf boxing.
GPT. GPT. Is that a computer program?
No, it's similar to Copilot or Gemini. It's just one of the many AI engines that are out there right now. And I don't know enough about them to say that one's better or worse than the others. The first one that I heard of, so it was the first one I used. It's kind of fun. I mean, it talks to you. It's a machine, but it talks to you as if you're a person. So I talk back to it as if it's a person.
Well, it gets to know you.
Yeah, and I was working on that project I showed you last night, and it's all about showing the categories. And once I got to the point where it was displaying correctly, I started realizing I needed to refine the categories for the ship types. So I started going back and forth with it. And it's kind of like, if any one of you guys are on Facebook, you know how you can just get sucked into watching one video after another. These AI engines keep proposing the next part of your conversation. And so just you get deeper and deeper and deeper into it. So about 12:30, I'm like, I wrote, unlike your circuits, my neurons need a break, so I'm going to bed. And it responded. It said, we're talking about database for ship model types. It says, oh, understood. Even with a naval database, the fog of war sets in. It's like, wow, that's pretty creative language for a computer.
And it mined you for so much targeted advertising. Woo!
No advertising at all.
Oh, nice.
The chat GPT, I use it a lot in my personal life. I've used it to write like a saying on a sympathy card. I've used it to, I even used it to write the notes of the meetings here. I just put in, and you can have a voice thing where you can just read off stuff and say, please, write out the minutes for this meeting, and then you dictate what you want to say, and it comes right back. And you do have to edit it a little, but one thing I just did this past week, my wife wants to paint our kitchen, so we took pictures of the kitchen and put it in the chat GPT and told it, take this kitchen and we want to, what color would look nice, and it gave us all kinds of options. There's our kitchen in different colors, so it can be used for lots of stuff. I mean, once you get into it and start learning it's really a good tool for your personal life.
As a side note, in the past, you can see from this last blog issue, the cover photo, that was all AI generated. And I've used that in the past to create pithy artwork for John in the logbook.
It's not that difficult.
Yeah. Now that particular one wasn't specifically Chat GPT because touch you off after, but there are others that are similar. Generate images, and it's amazing what it will come up with the right prompts and tweak here and there, and that's all fake, all smoking.
I use the free version.
Well, that's what I do too. That's why Chat let me generate a few images, and then
I think you get like 10 a day or something.
Yeah, if you're asking it questions, you can just go on forever. When you start giving it attachments,
Yeah,
it does cut you off. But then it resets. Come back in a few
24
hours.
hours. Yeah.
Well, it's less than that even.
Yeah.
For me, it was.
Okay.
But anyway, yeah, Chat GPT was like a nonprofit organization that was working on AI, And then they changed it later to be some sort of limited profit thing, but it's more or less independent. And the others are attached, like Copilots, Microsoft, Gemini, Google, whatever. But just try them all out and see which one you like.
Well, I'm waiting
Or
for the
all of them.
technology to catch up to where I can just type in 3-inch gun Mark IV and it'll just print it out for me. 3D printed out.
Yeah, that's the gotcha, is getting good quality STLs out of the AIs. That's, you can generate images. Yeah. But getting them into something that you can actually print, you start going into that old story about the designer that finally put down his pencil and drafting square and went, now they can't even cast it. That's kind of how it feels some days with the AIs.
This programming thing I went through was kind of, I was pulling my hair out at some points because it would give me a lot of good stuff, and then it should have a perfect memory as a computer, but it would forget what it did before and drop out things. It's like, well, wait, what happened to that? I wanted that. And I had to force it to add it back in. So you learn how to ask the right questions, and you have to remind it, to keep this, that, and the other thing in there. Otherwise, it might throw it out, depending on what you're working on. But anyway, fun stuff. It's amazing. It's scary.
Can I say something esoteric about AI and my experience with it? I wrote a 2-page letter to my children about the national debt. And that's has anything to do with what we're all talking about here. And I went into my background is engineering, and I went into a lot of the historical and data, and I passed it on to my daughter. And she said to me, when she read it, she said, "Dad, the rest of the family's not going to read this. It's too long. It's too involved." So she said she submitted it to ChatGPT, and I don't know how she framed it, but it came back in a paragraph. The one thing that I was astounded about was it was direct and to the point. The problem, it didn't give anything about the background or the import of what I had tried to convey. So there's another, if you will, aspect. You got to be careful with it when you ask it things. Summarizing it was great, but it took it down to a paragraph.
I did the same thing at work, and where it took it down too far, and so I asked it to. It actually prompted me, "Would you like this in a summary?" And I said, "Yeah, sure." And I said, "Okay, well," it said, "Okay, here's a 200-word summary." And it was too short. So I said, "Oh, go ahead and expand that to 500. And you can play around with it until you get back what you were looking for out of it." But I certainly understand your point. You have to monitor it. You can't just accept what it gives you without analyzing.
And I've gotten responses back, but I've personalized it to make it sound more like the way I would say it as opposed to,
You don't want to sound like a textbook.
Yeah, I mean, students, in high school, they love this stuff. It's, they can say, write me a term paper on, Abraham Lincoln or something.
Yeah, but do you really learn anything?
No, that's the problem.
Yeah.
Some school systems are pushing back.
But you're an old guy.
Yeah.
I know, it's nothing I'm interested in because
The other thing with the AIs is that unless you have seriously high horsepower computing and graphic processing and memory, just use the online versions. Installing locally, configuring, and getting things to work in any reasonable way is non-trivial. I've stood up a few systems with it at home. And yeah, you start hitting the limit real fast, especially for intensive graphics, things that would take 20 minutes to generate on a decent machine on the online generates in 10 to 15 seconds. So even if you have to subscribe for $10 a month or whatever, if you're intending to do any significant amount of trying to generate, like I said, 3D models of good quality, it's worth buying a subscription to Meshi or one of the other services.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone. I guess we're adjourned. Have a fantastic month, and please bring your moms to show off.
Appreciate having you guys online.
Need to stretch back up.
Yeah. I bought a ton of books, right? And, but I agree with it.